What's up, YouTube? This is Hayway. I've been away for a long time, but I am back into producing again. I just had to, find some time to actually start producing again. I got some releases coming up, and it's actually going pretty well. I had a lot of questions to regards of the previous videos that I've created, the tutorial series, if I could do another one. I thought, well, let's basically put this into one video, and I'll try and keep this one under an hour, and I will show you how I would start a project. So let's stop the talking and start the working, and see where we can get. I'll start off by putting it to 150 BPM. Later on we will probably bounce it up to 155. And I will start with a Sylenth1. Of course, we're not going to use presets because I like to do the sound design myself. And we will write a melody. Of course, sometimes you have a melody in your head. I currently do not have a melody in my head. So we're just going to have to see where it will take us. So I think I'm just going to start off by writing a bass line. That will be a good approach. So I'll copy the Sylenth1 and say bass. And this will be Sylenth1 top lead. And we're actually going to use a few more. I'm going to create a support lead. Let me see. Yeah, we'll just keep it this way for now and just start with something. I'll start with a bass. It's going to be a very simple bass. Important thing is that it just works, right? So put it an octave down, give it a little bit of a saw on top of it, and then we'll filter it away. So and then we'll throw over a filter with a little bit of resonance and a little bit of drive. Okay. Oh, there we go. And you could do a little bit of distortion. All right. So let's start by creating a bass line. I'm going to put the volume up in here. I actually keep all my synths in maximum volume up here, and then I'll just do the volume into the mixer and make sure the volumes there are set correctly. Okay, so we're going to write a simple bass line. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. Okay, you hear that clicking sound? We're going to get rid of it by giving this a little bit of release. I'm sipping the coffee, by the way, so sometimes you hear some slurping sounds. That's me enjoying my coffee. Okay, So we'll give this its own mixer track. and then I'll select this thing and press Ctrl L, and then you can see it will automatically be assigned above here. So now, of course, we need something like a melody. We'll create a very, standard patch. Of course, you can write a melody with this, but it's kind of boring, right? So I will use a pitch on the LFO, and it's going to be random, and it's going to be very hard, fast, and we'll crank up the gain. I always use this as a center lead, okay? And then we'll use the other side of this sign. So we're now using one voice for this. We'll use the other side, the part B, because part A is of course being pitched, right? So it's very grainy. We'll use part B to put it into a bed of sauce. So and then we'll add some voices for a small top high end, but we'll decrease the volume of this one. Okay, so now we have something to work with. Of course, if you want to make this bigger, then you could add some reverb. I guess I'll just do that right away. We'll send the top lead and the support lead to the same bus. I'll select them both, press Ctrl L. And then in the mixer, I'm going to send both of these, to one bus, which will actually contain the lead and chords. So I can do all the mixing stuff on this one, and send this one to a reverb bus so that everything is minimalistic. That's the way that I really like to produce. Keep everything very, very simple and basic. Okay, so we'll create a reverb bus right here. I'll use Pro R as my reverb because that's a plugin that I really like. Okay, so of course, it's way too nasty right now, so we're gonna do a little bit of cleaning. And we need to do some side chaining, so I'll add a fruity limiter. And it will listen for the lead and chords. It will duck whenever the sound is playing. Then I'll also give the lead sound a little bit of an attack. So we're gonna go up here. I'm gonna say, let's do the pitch A and B, and do it like this, right? Give it an attack. And now we'll actually start writing a melody. It's going to be very simple, but hopefully it works. Very simple, but you know, we need to start with something in order to create something that sounds cool, of course. So let me see if we just put this up. So slowly we'll start adding more detail to the melody, and it will sound better and better every time that you play it. And whenever you play it, you get new ideas, of course. So here we go, play it again, right? So now we're gonna fill up the empty parts at the end, right? At the end, right here. So for now, this sounds good to me. I am missing, you know, in order to get more inspiration, I always like to add the reverb and the delay and all the candy stuff so that you really get into a flow. So if you hear the delay and the reverb, there is a type of ambience that allows you to work faster, in my opinion at least. So we'll also create a delay bus. I'm going to turn off the dry signal. I'm going to send the lead and the chords bus to this one as well. There we go. And we'll tempo sing this. Turn on ping pong. Okay. So wet is on, dry is off. We'll send it, make it ping pong left and right. So where is the panning button? It's right here. So let's listen if this rhythm is okay. This is a very standard rhythm, right? Maybe here, you know. For some reason, I really like this one, so we'll also add a fruity limiter to make sure that it, you know, ducks whenever the thing is playing. Otherwise, it's going to be a big mess sound-wise. And I am also going to cheat this one. I'm going to send a little bit of the delay signal through the reverb signal. So this is only the delay. So whenever I turn the reverb on, of course, the melody is also going through the reverb, so it's going to sound a bit bigger. But in order to get more ambience, I would send a little bit of the you know, the delay through the reverb bus. Check it out. And of course, this is only the top lead. We're gonna create the support lead as well. And of course, we need pads, squires, everything to, you know, blow it up. I will add a layer, which is what I use if I'm gonna use the same MIDI. I put the MIDI into the layer and, you know, make these two part of the layer. So click the layer and you can actually pick your synths, set children, and now this layer will send MIDI to both of these VSTs. So now we're going to work on the support lead because it's, you know, kind of thin, and we need to have some support. So I think we're just going to play the melody, turn off the reverb and delay, and just try and make it fuller, right? Give it more voices, you know. Before, this is just a support lead and it sounds very boring, so I think I'm just going to do a little bit of sound editing on this one to make it a little bit more interesting. So I think we're also going to turn on the glides, maybe just a little bit of glides. So I'm going to turn on the slide mode. Start with the lead, by the way, because it's, you know, otherwise it's going to be a bit unclear. So we'll just use the lead. Okay, and we'll turn on the support lead as well. We need to slide this one as well. Okay, so use the same value as we had here. It's in the left. You can see what the value is. It's about 10 milliseconds, so we'll use it on the support lead as well. About 10, it doesn't have to be perfect. So, but as you can listen, you can hear it's very static. No. We're gonna fix this because this is too boring. It's not interesting at all. So we'll add some extra stuff here. Sounds better already. You can also use the LFO to kind of pitch the entire thing. Sometimes it works very well, but maybe on this one it's not going to work as well. Let's just add a little bit and try it out. So we're going to pitch it up, and it's going to use this LFO. Let's see. Okay, so we'll just listen to the support lead. This is boring, right? But this sounds cool. And if we also enable the top lead in this one, I think I'm also going to do the same to the top lead. Maybe add a little bit more. Okay, I actually removed the octave, the top octave of this one, and it sounds better in my ears. So we now have a very basic melody. We have a top lead, a support lead, and a bass. Let's do some EQing to get most out of this, and then later on we'll fill in the gaps with pads, chords possibly, because we're still missing chords, of course. And then see where we can take this, okay? Also on the master channel, I'm going to add a Ozone, so that I'm actually, maximizing the volume because I want to hear what it would sound like mastered. In that sense, I want to have high volume all the time so that I can really squish everything in there. So we're going to maximize this, do a little bit of compression to even the frequencies out a little bit, and then we'll continue working on the inner sound design again. So. Okay. Oh, of course, don't forget to save this thing. I'll, upload the project later on whenever the video is finished, and then I'll just edit so you can download it and look at it yourself if you want to. We'll call this YouTube, or actually we'll do it in this folder. New folder, YouTube. Okay, there we go, YouTube. Save. There we go. Let's do some EQing. So because we have no EQs whatsoever, this is all coming out of Sylenth1, and of course we want to have some, EQing to make it pop and make it sound better. So that was a top lead that I've EQ'd. Now we'll work on the support lead. So I'll add a Pro Q and edit this one, right? Okay, and the bass, what are we going to do with this? Okay, sounds good to me as well. Let's just, for the sake of it, add a Pro Q. And right, give it some bass. Lows go down a bit. Okay, but we're still missing stuff like, some pads in the background. So we'll create that as well. We'll add another Sylenth1. And of course, go to the init preset. And then first off, we'll route this to a channel, number 9, for example. These will be like pads, right? Press Ctrl L so that it gets assigned to its own channel right there. What I'll do here is copy the bass line, paste it in there. The lead layer, we've turned it off, so it's now just this VST and the bass VST playing. And now we'll find out the, the keys that belong with this one. So here we're gonna go. These are gonna be pads eventually. So I think it's gonna be like this. I think this is okay, and this will really make the sound a lot bigger. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, there we go. And of course we need to put the voices up in here, otherwise it's not going to be happy. Okay. So now we'll slowly start sound designing the pad sound. Okay, there we go. Right now it's very, very loud. So there's also a lot of high information that we do not need. So we're going to filter that out, right? Then we're going to send it to the reverb bus, and we're going to send less to the master bus. Okay, then we're going to create the chords because, you know, it sounds pretty big, but I want to have it bigger. So I want to make sure that that there are some nice harmonies in there as well, and it can easily be created. So actually I'm going to copy delete the support lead, and we'll create chords out of these. So we're going to clone this. But we're going to send it to a different bus. It's going to be number 8 and say Sylenth1, and these are going to be the chords. This is you know, pads, bass. Let me see. The chords, of course, is going to have different MIDI as this one, but it's going to be, the start is going to be the same. So we'll copy over the MIDI of the layer, paste it into the chords channel. We'll turn off legato mode because we want to stack the chords on top of each other. So let's take a listen there. We're going to make it slightly different than the support lead, of course. And I'll add a Pro Q as well to filter out some of the I'm taking away high end of the chords because the high end is already, you know, it's enough in the lead layers already. So I'm just going to remove it out of the chords to make sure that there is room for some high end, because if you stack too much high end on top of each other, it's going to be noise and noise only, and that's harsh for the ears, and you know, listeners are not going to be happy with that. So let me see. We're going to send the chords. Press Ctrl L. Yeah, I wanted to have you in number 8. Okay, Sylenth1 chords, and this one will be default again. Oh man, default. Where are you? There. Okay, perfect. And we're going to send this one to the lead and chords bus. So it's a bit too much with this. A bit more detuning. Maybe put this one up an octave. Yeah, it sounds perfect. So now we're going to write the chords for the melody, because now it's this, right? And now we're going to focus on the chords. So we're going to go to the turn off the lead layer, keep the bass and the pads on, and we'll go to this one right here. This is the chords MIDI. So now we're just playing the chords. The chords are now playing the melody, but we're going to write the melodic chords that belong with this to create some harmonies and stuff like that. So let's play it. There we go. So now we're gonna have some fun. Keep this at one note. We don't want to mess with those bass notes, and maybe later on we'll delete all of those. What we are focusing right now is this stuff right here. Right? Check it out. Yeah, this is what we're gonna do. I'm trying to follow the chords that are in the background as much as I can. Sometimes it will not be possible, but I'm making sure that the melody is always the top line and the chords are underneath it. So some of those are easy, right? And some of them are going to require your ears. So you're actually going to have to listen for it, but I'll do everything that is already there. Okay, there we go. This one. I do not understand music theory, so this is always the way that I do it. Later on, I'll just start listening for the missing notes to fill them up. Right, like that, like this. Okay, then we'll play it and we'll try and fill up the missing notes. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, I think we made a cool melodic chord progression, so let's add all layers very slowly to see if it works, right? So start off with the bass. And then I'll introduce the top lead. Support lead. Now the pads. And now the chords. Now we're gonna have to do a little bit of remixing again to make sure that everything has its own place. So okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of a stereo imaging trick that I use a lot of times actually. We're going to open up the imager of Ozone, and I'm going to create it to be a bit more stereo, but of course we're not going to do it on the entire lead. I actually want to have this on the center lead, right? So this one. Turn on sterilize. Let it learn. And then we'll make it a bit wider. And then we'll turn on everything again. And now we're gonna work on the final lead bus, because it is, you know, it has a lot of peaks and all that stuff, so it's going all kinds of ways, and we need to tame the dynamics a little bit. And we're not gonna use compression for this. We're actually gonna use limiting for this, or a soft clipper or anything like that. But first I want to make sure that the frequencies are being kept well, so I'm gonna add a Pro Q. And this is the final Pro Q on the final bus, so I'm going to turn on that it automatically compensates for everything that you change, which is auto gain. So whenever you remove a frequency down here, it's going to boost up there, and vice versa. So to keep it in balance, right? Also, we need to EQ the delay a little bit because it's really a lot, right? Now I'm kind of curious at how this would sound like with a kick, so we're gonna mix in a kick as well. For my kicks, I always like to use Nimble Kick because it's a very nice plugin to pitch and do everything. I feel like this melody needs a euphoric kick, so I'm going to use a euphoric kick that I got from my Hardstyle pack. Yes, I do like to use Hardstyle packs sometimes, especially for setting up a project. Later on I will replace it for my own kicks, but for now we'll just use one out of a sample pack. Let me see. Maybe from the Code Black pack would be good. I'll just drag in one like that and send this to channel 1. Press Ctrl L, right? Hopefully it works right now. Yep, it does. Okay, and we'll copy the bass over to Nimble Kick, turn the bass off, and put this up an octave. Then we'll make sure that the kick is being sidechained to the lead bus, where we will add a track spacer. It's basically a multi-band compressor, but it does the compression dynamically, which is really cool. So whenever your kick is playing at a E, for example, it filters out different frequencies as it would if it was playing on a. And it makes your sound more dynamic, and there's, you can't really hear the side chaining anymore. Sometimes people like to use shaper bugs and stuff like that, and it's really obnoxious because it's really noticeable, right? Get rid of a little bit of high end because it's a bit too much right here. Maybe it's because of the chords, because of the pads. Could also be the problem. It's also in here, so we're gonna get rid of a little bit of high end by using Saturn here. better, right? Sounds a bit more pleasant to the ear. Maybe we can also do something in here. Let me see. Put this one down a little bit. And then also we're gonna get rid of the bit of the punch highness, right? Now we'll turn on the pads to see if it is in balance right now. If it's not, we're gonna use shaper box on the pads, because you know pads are okay to rhythmically sidechain.